Hello out there, everybody in Videoland. Just let me get my radio guys up and running here. Oh, yeah, baby. Away we go. Hey, let me just get it going. Here we are. Yeah, okay. We got everything going. Music off, radio on, streaming live. Studios of 4680Q. Hello out there in Videoland. It's good to see you. Thanks for tuning into the show today. Your City, Your Voice. My name is Paul K. Lemire, and we are in the studios, like I said, of 4680Q Radio. Let me give some speaker volume here so I can hear what I'm saying and make sure all the levels are right. And thank you for joining in. If you're seeing the video on YouTube, subscribe. Hit the notification button. Give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down. We're talking about a lot of different things today. I'm going to tell you that right now. We're going all over from city to down south to over the Middle East. We're taking it all in today on a finally Friday. And it has been a long week. This weather's been changing. I've got the hums, and I was just laughing my head off here. I was watching an old clip from wrestling. The early days of wrestling, when WWE was really good. And they had Jesse the Body, Vince McMahon were commentating, and I think Hogan was in the ring, or Flair, right? So Adrian Adonis was dressed up as a woman. He had a big dress on. So when she jumps in the ring, Jesse the Body goes, "Hey, McMahon, look at some sweat hog just jumped in the ring with Flair." And McMahon goes, "That's no sweat hog, Jesse. That's Adrian Adonis." Oh, man. Oh, it's hilarious. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, you missed the best days of wrestling. It was just fantastic. Just fantastic. I was laughing my head off when I was watching this clip. It took me back to the good old days. Okay, so let's get going here. First, I have to mention my sponsors: Hamilton Glowstone Lighting, Wild Bill's Auto Repair and Body Shop, and Victoria Avenue Pete's Pizza. Yeah, they sponsor the show. Thank you very much for sponsoring the show. And I always tell my listeners, my viewers on video, to support our sponsors. They support the show, support them. And if anybody out there wants to be a sponsor, get a hold of me. I've got openings. Get a hold of me, and you can have your business talked about by me every day. Yeah, there you go. Just get a hold of me. Anyway, let's start with Wild Bill's Auto Repair and Body Shop. We're seeing the weather change. We know we should be proactive with our car. We should take it and get the oil change, get everything done before the winter sets in. Check our coolants, check our heater, make sure our tires are good because the snow is not fun to drive in. All the things that we should do. And in that regard, Ken Hunter knows this. He knows you want to get your car checked out. So he's offering a free end of summer inspection. That's right. You take your car in and he's going to check your brakes, your suspension, your tires. He's going to give your car a computer scan. And if there's any error codes, he'll tell you what they are and he'll take care of them for you. He's also going to take a look at your fluids, your lighting, take your vehicle for a test drive. Listen, good mechanics listen to see if there's any problems, if they can't find them on the computer. And they'll fix it. And this is what I call being proactive and get your car in there, not waiting until you break down in the winter. That's not a lot of fun. As well, they have a full body shop at Wild Bill's Auto Repair and Body Shop. So take your car in there. They're going to fix it up, send you out in showroom condition. Now, it doesn't get better than that. Your car is going to be so happy. I'm going to be happy. Ken's going to be happy. Wild Bill's Auto Repair and Body Shop, Oakwood Drive, next to the Kia dealership. Give them a call today. And book your appointment. Why not? Free. End of summer inspection. Tell them Paul from Your City, Your Voice sent you. Thank you very much for supporting our sponsors. Okay, so look at this weather. What is it? 50 degrees out there, chilly, cloudy. It's not raining or anything. That's good, but we know what's coming, and that's not a problem. That's not a problem. So with the winter coming and with this kind of weather in October, we're reaching the end of October here. I am going to be doing on Tuesday a show that's going to be suggesting costumes for our city council members. Now, what city council members and what costumes would you match up with them? What do you want to see them dressed up as? Hey, Put your suggestions on this video. Put them on my Facebook page. Email them to me, paullemire@kojigo.ca. Whatever you want to do, send me your suggestions. What costumes would befit our city council members? And remember, there's 8 of them. Well, actually 9 of them, because Wayne Thompson was there for 2 years. So we have the mayor, Mayor Jim Diodati. We have Victor Peterangelo. We have Mike Strange. We have Ruth Ann Newestig. We have Wayne Campbell. We have Lori Lococo. We have Tony Baldinelli. We have Mona Patel. We have Chris Dabrowski. We have Mayor and former mayor, and he stepped down. He didn't. He kind of resigned. Yeah, he retired. Wayne Thompson, and don't forget, we have Jason Burgess, the CAO, on one side. We have Bill Matson on the other side, the city clerk. Give them a name. Hey, we have Wayne Gates, and we also have Tony Baldinelli, the MP. So lots of costumes befit these guys. I know I'm writing them down already. I got them ready for Tuesday, and our buddy Dave Wheels is going to be in to celebrate the costume for our city councilors. We're going to suggest costumes. I would say it's going to be a good show to tune in on. We're going to have a lot of fun with this, and it's all in good heart and good spirit. So don't anybody take it too seriously. We're just having fun here. So yeah, next Tuesday show. But get your votes in for what they should dress up as before that, and I'll get them on air. If you want me to use your name with them, that's fine. But maybe some people won't want to when they suggest the costume. So, and that's fine too. Whatever you want, I'm just going to put them on there. So it don't really matter. I'm going to have mine on there, and they'll know they're my suggestions. So there's no doubt about that. Let's do a few more city council tidbits. Of course, we had a city council meeting on Tuesday, and there's a lot of things to discuss. It was a pretty long meeting, 7 hours. I think that one went. A couple hours in the pizza and wing room, discussing in camera top secret, sensitive information that they can't divulge to us taxpayers. Too important. Too many blabbermouths. They're going to tell everybody what they're talking about. I guess I don't know. Top secret, anyway. So, interestingly enough, I shouldn't use these big words. When council agreed to use unspent money from the downtown BIA for a meet and greet with Santa and to animate Queen Street and Centennial Square and light up Queen Street and have a Santa Claus parade, there were 2 objectors. Councilor Lori Lococo, who actually lives downtown, and of course, I couldn't understand why she would object to it. And Shadow Council leader, that's what he calls himself, Jody Burnett. Jody Burnett. Yeah, he lives over on Bridge Street. They objected to it. He got up and gave a big thing about it. And, last year we missed the lights on Queen Street, of course. So, this year was nice to see that City Council was going to do it. And they were going to use money from the BIA, which doesn't exist anymore technically. There is no BIA, but there were funds left over from when there was a BIA. And so they'll say, we'll just use the $15,000 from that to pay for the parade and everything else we want to do down here, which sounded good to me. And, of course, Jody Burnett got up and said, no, they shouldn't be using it because blah, blah, the BIA didn't agree to it. And, of course, when it came down to that, then, of course, the Penguin, Jason Burgess, got up to CAO and said, well, technically there is no BIA. So we don't have to ask permission from anybody, not because we're arrogant, but because there's nobody to ask permission of. There is no BIA that exists anymore. It was dissolved. It doesn't exist. And there's money left over, and that's where we're going to use the money from. Now, of course, Jody Burnett got up and gave a big, long speech like he usually does. Like it's a contest between him and Councilor Patel, who's going to be the bigger nincompoop. They for some reason have to get up after everything and give a comment. I don't understand why. If you agree with something, put your hand up, vote for it. Jody Burnett has nothing to do with city council, by the way. He's running what he calls this shadow government or something. And he thinks because he created his own entity that has nothing to do with anything other than him, that he should be advised of everything and that. And you know what? To give Jody credit, because he is a citizen of Niagara Falls and a taxpayer, yes, he should be notified of what's going on. But not because he's the shadow government. That has no swear or anything to do with anything other than he made this thing up. So anyway, be that as it may, he gave his big thing about why he didn't like it and using BIA money that hasn't been approved, but there's no BIA to approve it, so he's don't know. But then Chris Dabrowski, Councillor Tatanka, Chris Dabrowski, that's my nickname for him. By the way, I have nicknames for all the counselors, right? And when he arrived, I gave him Tatanka. I don't know why. He just reminded me of Tatanka, the wrestler, if you remember Tatanka. Anyway, he got up and said, "Do you have a business in the BIA business district on Queen Street or something?" And of course, Jody Burdett says, "No, I don't." Because he doesn't. He lives over on Bridge Street. He's got a business over on Bridge Street, which is outside of the normal bounds of the BIA, like Jason Burgess, the Penguin, told him. And so they lowered the boom on him right there. Bam! Bam! So what are you even talking about if you don't have a business in here? So, of course, the Penguin said no, he doesn't fall within the normal boundaries of the BIA when it existed, because it doesn't exist anymore, remember. And the funny thing is that Jody Burdett was under the impression he was in this district. So this is going to be a good one. I don't know if he's been paying fees or not as a business down here. And city council's out. I think they got another problem here. And somebody mentioned that to me. I can't remember who, but somebody did message me and said, what's going on here? Because the Innovation Hub is on the corner of Zimmerman Avenue and Bridge Street, and they're in the BIA. And I don't know if they are or not. I think they are. And if they can be in it on Bridge Street, which is outside of the normal boundaries of the BIA, which basically run from, Park Street to Huron Street and down Queen Street, then if they're in, then Jody Burdett can be in too, right? You can't let them in without the other businesses over here. So interesting. I don't know if there's going to be another integrity commission thing launched or not here with this thing. I don't know. Because Jody was pretty surprised he wasn't in it when he thought he was. And that's why he was talking to it as a member. Well, you know what? Here we go. You can't suck and blow at the same time. That's the bottom line, right? If the hub there, Innovation Hub, is in it, then Jody Burdett's business has to be in it. That's all there's to it. There's no arguing that. He's down the street from them, right? If the bus terminal's in it, they have to be in it because they're on Bridge Street too. So, yeah, let's see what happens with that. But welcome to downtown Niagara Falls, Ontario, and the former BIA and the current city council running it. It's a shite show, and it never ends. It's a never source of entertainment whenever they want to do anything. But I'm happy that they're having a parade. I'm happy that they're lighting up Queen Street. Niagara Falls is known as the city of Festival of Lights, the biggest one in Canada, and our Queen Street isn't lit up? Come on. Doesn't even make sense. So anyway, I'm glad they're doing it this year, and good they're having a parade for the kids and the citizens of Niagara Falls. Now, I couldn't understand why Lori Lococo put her hand up, and when I rewatched the tape, I went in and rewatched the tape of the city council meeting, and sure enough, she did put her hand up against it, giving the $15,000, but there was no explanation from her why, and nobody asked why. She never addressed the issue. And I just figure, well, Jody Burdett went on and on. Maybe he caught some points that she was going to say, so she didn't have to say it. I didn't know why. So I said, okay, that's fine. I don't know why. Oh, I got to disappear. Okay, just got to get my paper. I dropped it. I don't know why. And so I said, I messaged Lori, and I said, Lori, I noticed that you said you voted against spending the money for downtown. I mean, you live down there and everything. Like, is there a reason? What's the reason? And she did reply. So, and she told me that basically why she put her hand up against it wasn't about, not liking the idea of a parade or any of that stuff, but what she opposed was, and I'll just read you exactly what she sent me. She explained, and this is quoted. This is what she wrote me. The BIA has only contributed 2K to 5K before they were dissolved. To have $15,000 come out of that levy, she didn't think it was fair. Okay, that's a fair statement. Um, the parade benefits the whole city, not just the businesses downtown. They, and she was talking about the businesses downtown, actually say it does not benefit most of them. So having the parade down here and everything doesn't benefit them. If the city wants to put the parade on, the city should pay for it. That was her thing. Instead of taking it out of this little fund from the BIA, which is supposed to be saved for the BIA, they were taking everything they could out of there. And she didn't like that idea. It's a city event, the city should pay for it. And basically, that was their final step. If the city wants to put on the parade, the city should pay for it. That was her only thing against it. She couldn't vote for it. She didn't feel that money should come out of any funds left over from the BIA. And I thank you for that explanation, Laurie. You did get back to me and you did tell me, so I could put it on the show here. I think you are correct in saying this and voting against it. If that's what the case is, yeah, the city's putting it on. The taxpayers should pay for it. It's their event. It's for the whole city. Everybody comes down and looks at it and has a good time, bring their kids and everything. It shouldn't be put on any kind of BIA to do it if it's a city event. And I really like to explain it because a lot of people sat there and said, well, why would she be against it? They couldn't figure it out with her living it downtown. So there's the explanation, and it makes sense. And I want to thank Ray Spiteri for the great article in the Niagara Falls Review. Of course, I am a commentator, not a news reporter. So basically, I'm just reporting what Ray Spiteri wrote, and he writes a great article. And a lot of the articles I thank him for because he does write a lot to do with city council. He's the guy for city council on the review, and he's been on the show before to do a city council agenda review, and I've got to get him on again. Okay, over to City of St. Catharines for a minute. Interesting stuff here. St. Catharines residents are looking at a 2.46% tax hike this year. Okay, that's moderate. Or around, I think, basically around $42 a year on a house currently assessed at $258,000, or around $1,800 a year just for their city taxes. So that's what it's going to amount to. And I have a house that's close to that estimated value, and I'm close to $4,000 a year. How can this be? And to make matters worse, we're getting nicked and dimed for another 4.9% this year, after a 4.9% increase last year and 7.9% the year before. Now, do you see where I'm going with this? St. Catharines gets 2.46% increase. We're looking at 4 to 5 right now, and we haven't even had the meeting yet. November 26th, I think, is the meeting where they're going to discuss the capital budget, and then we've got the operations budget in January, and then we're going to get our final combined tax rate. But they want the capital budget up by, I think they said 4.9%. We'll see. But yeah, and here's the thing: St. Catharines doesn't get $20 million from the casino. They're able to run the city efficiently with a meager 2.6% anticipated increase this year. Actually, 2.5%. Yeah, 2.5%, not 2.6. That's what they're anticipating the increase to be. There's no other answer for outrageous taxes except mismanagement of funds. What else could it be? Can anyone out there tell me another reason? I'd like to know. If there's a reason, let me know. I don't see any more services than St. Catharines here. So my buddy Ralph Panucci said at our rally last year, we had a rally last year before tax time to keep the tax increase at 0. That didn't work out good for us. and 15 people attended. So you can say Niagara Falls don't give a rat's ass about their taxes, whatever. Just do whatever you got to do down there on Queen Street, and we'll accept it and pay it and shut up. So he said Niagara Falls doesn't have a revenue problem. We have lots of money. We have a spending problem. We spend too much on stuff. So, why can St. Catharines manage with a thriving downtown core, yet we cannot manage with larger hikes and an extra $20 million? I mean, there's something wrong here. And then the only thing that could be wrong is management. They have a better staff and council than we have, I guess. What else can it be? I don't know. I don't know what it could be. They don't get 20 million a year that we get, and yet theirs isn't as good as, if not better shape than us. They have the same aging infrastructure that's been around for years. They have to continually fix in that. They have to continually do the roads, and they have more roads. Well, maybe not now. I mean, we got a lot of roads in Niagara Falls. We've spread out a bit. I don't know. I always see St. Catharines as a little bit bigger of a city, as far as area goes and as far as population goes. But we're catching them real quick, which means our tax base is going up. We're getting more in taxes, right? As we expand the population, we get more in taxes. People have to live somewhere, and they pay taxes, property taxes. So, I mean, yeah, they seem to manage the city better than we do. I say that. Their downtown is thriving. Everything's going good. 2.46% compared to our 4.9 or whatever it's going to be this year, 4 to 5%. And they have more amenities than us. They've done a better job with revitalizing their downtown. I see St. Paul Street was dying at one time, much like our Queen Street has been dead for a long time. So, yeah, I don't get it. So when you look at your tax bill, remember St. Catharines, 2.46%, $42 a year on their tax bill. Now that's not going to be their final tax bill, though. The region's still got to kick in and everything, but still, it's nice to see them trying to hold the line on their tax bills. I must say that. I want to get to my second sponsor, Hamilton Glowstone Lighting, and this time of year, Festival of Lights is coming up. Everybody wants to decorate their house and get involved. We have the Festival of Lights, the Sparkle Awards, I think they call them, where they go out and they judge houses who have really nice displays and everything. So, hey, people are getting into the spirit. We're starting to see it. And you want to have your house looking good. But you know what? You don't feel like climbing ladders in rotten weather, putting all those orange lights up for Halloween and the skeletons and everything. Then you got to go up there, take them all down, and then in another month when the Festival of Lights starts, you got to get up there again, put all the lights up for Christmas and everything else. You don't want to do that. So what do? You call Hamilton Glowstone Lighting, the leader in permanent outdoor lighting. And what they do is they come to your house, install track lighting, LED track lighting, so it's cheap on your power bill. You're not going to be you're not going to have to be paying huge electricity bills with LED lighting. As well, they put it in zones, so you control by your phone. So what do? They put these up in zones. You go to your phone, you say zone 1 red, zone 2 green, zone 3 red, zone 4 green, and they get a red and green for Christmas. For all 4 zones green for St. Patty's Day. For all 4 zones orange for Halloween coming up next week. Yeah, that's what you do. Very simple, very easy. No muss, no fuss, no bother. And they have a lifetime warranty on them. I mean, these things aren't just plugged into each other and all that. They're soldered together and sealed, impervious against dust and moisture. Unbelievable. They look fantastic. They add value to your home. They also add safety to your home. They let up pathways and walkways and driveways so you can see what you're doing when you get home late at night. See if any of these clowns are loitering around your house. How do you get these wondrous lights? Well, you call Colin Buckborough. He's the owner of Hamilton Glowstone Lighting, and you can reach him at 289 969 1797. That's 289 969 1797. He's going to come out, give you a free estimate, and if you choose to go with it, you're going to get them installed. They also offer available financing. So if you want to get that financed and pay a low monthly rate, now you can get it done. Hamilton Glowstone Lighting, Colin Buckborough. Give him a call today. Tell him Paul from Your City, Your Voice sent you, You'll be happy, I'll be happy, and we thank you for supporting our wonderful sponsors. Okay, so what did we see here? Interesting, and everybody's going like this. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, this is going to be good. The Bank of Canada dropped interest rates by 0.5% to 3.75%. Everyone's dancing on the streets. This is going to be so good. Everything's going to be so good. And, well, you know what? Relax with the dances. Take it easy. Don't have a heart attack. Because if you're in the market for a house, competition will now stiffen up and you're going to be further ahead. If you make a move on a house right now, because in about 2 weeks, they're going to start getting into bidding wars. There's going to be more buyers because of the drop in interest rates than there is supply. When you get into a supply and demand market, if there's more demand than there are available units, what happens? The bidding goes on and the prices go up. So if you're thinking of buying a house, do it right now. Grab something. Because in about 2 weeks, you're going to have everybody bidding on the same thing when they get into the market with lower interest rates. I mean, market demand increases for the same number of housing units and prices start going up, which means the house that costs $600 costs $650. So when you figure out your mortgage at $375, you're still going to have a high payment because the property went up in value artificially, of course, but it still went up because more people are bidding on it. And the movement on interest rates does not seem to be as important as supply. There has to be available houses for people to buy with those low interest rates. And that's where Kamala's plan falls flat because she's going to give people $25,000 to buy a house, people who are entering the market, which means that that's going to open the doors for more people to buy the same number of houses because they're not building them fast enough as people are going to want to buy them. So what does that mean? Escalation in prices, and that $25,000 is really not going to do you any good. And it's the same with this principle. Your payments would be lower if the houses stayed at $600, but they're not. They're going to get into a bidding war and go to $700. So your payments aren't going to change in that regard. So it's a double-edged sword with good interest rates, right? Especially when you don't have a good supply. Now, if they leave the interest rates alone and increase the supply and start dropping it when interest rates come down and you've got lots of supply for everybody, then your demand isn't going to be so great. They have a lot of choices and there's not going to be as much bidding, and the pricing market will stay the same. Now, we've got to build more houses. That's what that means. And in that regard, I saw a nice picture of these cul-de-sacs and developments that are small houses. Everybody's crying out small houses, or even these tracts of land for homeless people, right? And get them into these other houses. But then you get the Karens that are going, well, you isolate them from society. You're segregating them in one area, like a leper colony. No. This is good because now they're in one area where they can get help instead of people running all over the city looking for homeless, where they're encamped, where they're pitching their tents, where they're sleeping in doorways. Now they've got them in one area. So you can go in there with the right services, whether it's, help for addiction or mental help, that kind of thing. They know where everybody is and they can put the treatment centers right there where everybody has access to it. If they're scattered all over the city, it's almost impossible to find a lot of them. So it's the same with these, small houses for even people like back in the war. There's so many people coming back from the war who needed a house. There wasn't any housing, so they built wartime houses. And that's where people live. They got them for a really good price coming back from the war. They never had jobs. They didn't have a lot of money. So they offered them these wartime houses, which helped them out until they could find jobs and that kind of thing. I mean, we should go back to that model. That's what we really should do. We're building these tracts of housing, $1 million houses. Well, who can afford them? All they're helping is the people from Toronto who migrate to Niagara Falls and they buy these houses, but it's not helping anybody on the street or helping low income earners, seniors on fixed incomes or that kind of thing who are looking for a place. You can't find an apartment for $2,500 a month. It's hard to. So, I mean, this is what's going on now. So lower interest rates, although everybody's happy to see them, and if it means a reduction in credit card interest rates and a lot of other interest rates, so the prime rates, that's good. But as far as housing goes, I don't think so. And then add to that, banks and lending. Excuse me, I got the homes here. Banks and lending companies are now looking at 30-year amortization of a loan rather than 25 years, which is going to help bring down the payments more, bringing more people into the market and making the competition even stiffer. So we've got a lot of things going on here that are going to push up the price of housing. Now, what's the answer? Build, baby, build. Build as many houses as you can, as fast as you can, and let's get them into the hands of people. But you've got to make them affordable, like wartime type of housing. You got to make houses that are $300,000, something people can get into as starter homes and work their way up to a bigger house. I mean, that's what our parents all did. My parents first had an apartment on Prospect Street and Portage Road. That's where I lived when I was till I was 8 years old. They lived in an apartment right across from the hospital, although the hospital wasn't there then. It was a park called Poplar Park. So, I mean, this is the way everybody used to do it. They couldn't afford a $100,000 house or $25,000, even $30,000 house in those days. You had to be very wealthy to be able to do that. So we were there, and then we moved into where we are now. So yeah, that's I don't know what the answer is. It's always going to be this up and down with the markets, but you might be able to get in now if you're looking for a place. Get in on something before these bidding wars start, and away we go. We already have problems trying to get houses here for people that live in town because we have so many people from Toronto coming down and snapping them up real quick. Now that's my take on it. I could be wrong because I'm not a housing or real estate expert. Nope. So I could be wrong about all this. And if I am, somebody correct me. I should really get an expert in here to talk to it. Maybe Mike DiStefano or one of those guys who know a little bit more about it than I do. But this is the way I figure it. I figure that this is the way it's going and everything's good, right? And yeah, so let's see. If I'm wrong, let me know. Comment. Throw me a comment. Say you want to come in and straighten me out. I have no problem with people coming in here, real estate or anybody else, if they're interested, to straighten me out. I'm just telling you what I think, using common sense on it and what I read and that kind of thing. But it doesn't mean I'm right. But good luck finding a house if you're looking for one. Now's the time you might want to move. And I know a lot of people were getting into fixed mortgages. I think they're going to want to be in variable mortgages a little bit more right now. And because the rates are coming down and they look like they're going to come down more. So if they come down more, it's going to heat up even more. So make your move. Make your move. So let's talk about the new hospital coming to Niagara in 2028. They're building like crazy out there. And if you're friends with Tim Shafley, you know that they're putting them up fast. Things are happening. That corner of Bigger Road and Montrose Road is developed. It's going up. So what they've done, and I like this idea, actually, this is pretty smart. I never thought of it. I don't know if anybody, obviously they did, is they, in a warehouse in Welland, on a train bound for nowhere. No, they did a mock-up of rooms that will be part of the hospital. Yeah, they actually built the rooms as they're going to be in the hospital. Why, you ask? So that they can take through people who might be employed at the hospital, members of the community, and members of different communities, like people with accessibility issues, so they can all go through it and do a test run on it and try it out and give their recommendations. I love this idea. So they've got professionals, employees that are going to be working at the hospital, and community members going through it and saying, we don't like this setup, we don't like that setup, this should be over here. And they're actually able to change it real time in that room and make changes to it that have been recommended to serve people better. So I think that's good. And this is all done in a warehouse before they're actually constructed on site. So more than 200 people have toured the mock-up at this point, and they've suggested changes already. And these changes they feel will enhance patient care or make the employees, their jobs, more efficient when the real hospital opens its door in 2028. So it wasn't cheap to build this mock-up. It cost a lot of money, but the money was included in the $36 billion. I don't know what the hell it's going to cost for that hospital. A lot of money anyway, but it's included in the price of it. So they figured this out before, and they wanted to get it right the first time. What do they say? Measure twice and cut once. Yeah, that's what they're doing. So at the end of the day, this is probably going to save them money. It costs the bill, but they're going to save money by not having to renovate and redo stuff that they didn't do right because they never took certain things into account. So it makes sense. Getting the functionality right the first time will be a good thing. And one of the big things was accessibility. And sessions with the public have raised some excellent points that can be addressed before that final build. I think that they said that in the months since the mock-up was open to the public, the construction company has already incorporated items like flooring, wall coverings, medical equipment into these mock rooms to enhance the design before it hits the actual build. Great idea, and one that I think is going to pay dividends down the road, and it'll save money in renovations to address issues that come up once the build happens. So this is a good thing. I was interested in reading that. I never thought of that. It makes sense. It makes sense. So if you got a chance and you want to go through that, I would imagine you can. Just have to contact somebody that's on the build or whatever. Public's invited, and you got to get to the warehouse wherever that is in Welland, and you can take the tour. And I know a few people with accessibility issues, whether they're walkers or wheelchairs or whatever. They might want to go down there and take a look to make sure it works. Tim Shafley, you're one of the guys that probably should be looking at it. If you know more about accessibility and that than probably anybody else that I know. So you're the guy. Okay, if you get a call from some weird looking name, don't panic. You may want to answer it. ERG National Research has been commissioned to do a brief survey of Niagara Falls regarding the preferences and needs regarding sidewalk snow clearing. Hey, we talked about this before, right? And they want to know what you want. So they're going to call a bunch of people in Niagara Falls, homeowners, and they're going to ask them what they think. Do they want it or not? Now, this is great, but seriously, we're spending taxpayer dollars on this survey. I mean, if you talk to anybody, who doesn't want their sidewalks cleared in front of their house? I think that's a no-brainer. You want your sidewalks cleared? I wouldn't mind it. I do mine. 10 minutes later, the snowplow comes and he fills it back in. Or she, if there's a she driving the truck, I don't know, you can't see it. But either way, my sidewalk gets filled back in. And it's not the stuff that fell there. It's the stuff off the road that's melted and frozen and melted and frozen and slushy and heavy. I don't even want to take my snowblower through it. It'll blow it up. I shoveled it. I did my job. The city council wants to fine people if they don't shovel their driveway. That's what they're talking about. I mean, if that happens, do I call city council and say, no, you filled it in, you clean it. And by the way, it's not my sidewalk. I'll get a jackhammer and take the sidewalk out and put grass in there. And then I don't have to shovel anything. I'll cut it. Oh, I can't do that. I can't do that because it's not my sidewalk. Your sidewalk, you clean it. But anyway, they're asking about this. And one of the questions is, would you like it to have it done and have a 2% increase on your taxes? 2% increase on your tax levy to cover it. Now, who in the right mind is going to say yes? Especially since we get 20 million a year from the casino. You think they could scrape off a couple 100,000 to help us out here? I mean, really, sidewalk cleaning should be a perk of hosting a casino in this town. You know, we should get some perks from hosting these casinos. They give us $250 million over the last, since they've been in service in 1996. We got $250 million. Where is it? The Jawbreaker's still there. Nobody's fixed that. Where's that? Where is that money? Where'd it go? Where'd it go? Sleight of hand. Here, gone. So, yeah, these are tough questions to ask residents who really haven't seen a lot from the casino money. I mean, they even want to charge us $35 for parking. Now, you can't slip a little ticket in our bill? No. So we've had a hammered for an 18% tax increase over the last 3 years, including this year, going up. And they want to kick us for another 2% to clean our sidewalks. But believe it or not, there are people who don't want their sidewalks cleaned. Down on Ryle Street, I believe, they said, we don't clean our sidewalks. Your guys are incompetent. They come, they can't hit the sidewalk, they dig up our lawn. Then in the spring, it's a big mess when the snow melts. We wait for the city to come. It's halfway through the summer. Our front yards look like crap. And then we end up having to fix it ourselves because we can't wait for the city to get down there. Leave us alone. So there are people, believe it or not, who don't want it. Right? So, you know, they turn to other municipalities. Oh, what are you doing, Grimsby? What are you doing for? Oh, well, we increase taxes. Well, that's fine. They're not getting 20 million a year from the casino. You want that service, you pay for it. We have money to do this. I mean, seriously, how many big snow events do we get in a year? Think about it. How many? What, 3? 2, 3? I mean, major ones where you can't shovel the sidewalk because there's just too much snow. Not that many. Most times we get a dusting, maybe an inch, which, you know, anybody can walk on the sidewalk with an inch of snow. You don't have to be out there right after shoveling it. And if you do go out and shovel it, it's more of a push. You don't really shovel. I mean, shoveling is when you got to dig in and throw it. Just pushing it is nothing. I mean, anybody can do that. Even a guy in a walker could probably do that. But it's the big snowstorms, which we don't have that many of. Marianne Ticky could probably tell you how many last year. She sends the guys out to take care of it, but roads are more important than sidewalks. So, I mean, I would say forget the surveys. Don't spend money on them. Just do it. And if any part of the city doesn't want it, the service, cancel it for that area. Like Ryle Street. They came to city council and said, don't do it. And I'd like to know what they spent on this survey. There's a cost for all this, These companies just don't start calling people for nothing and taking results down and putting them in graphs and charts and everything and sending them to you. No, it's expensive. Probably more than the parade on Queen Street for us. Anyway, the money they spent on the survey could have went towards the sidewalks. How about that? Enough said about that. If you get the phone call, tell them what you think. And I have no problem with snow plows coming down my street, sidewalk plows, and cleaning up the mess the snow plows made. How about that? Let me get to my third sponsor, Pete's Pizza on Victoria Avenue. Now, if you want a pizza, yeah, you got to go to Pete's Pizza. I'm telling you, they make a darn good pizza. Mike, the owner of the franchise, right? It is a franchise. Pete's Pizza has been around Niagara region for 40 years, started by the Mancini family in St. Catharines. Well, Mike worked in an Italian restaurant. He gets it. He gets how to make a pizza. And you start out with the Mancini family recipe for sauce and the Mancini family recipe for crust. They're your fundamentals. Then Mike has the knowledge to be able to mix beautiful mozzarella, Saputo mozzarella with brick cheese, put it on the pizza in the right ratio to sauce, send it in the oven, and cook it just right. Really good pizza. Really good pizza. Got one the other day. Fantastic. So you got to go down there and give it a try. I'm telling you, I'm a pizza snob and I like it. Now, Mike also has taken your concerns into consideration. People say these pizzerias close at 9 o'clock. We can't get a pizza after 9 o'clock. What did Mike do? He extended his hours on Sunday through Thursday till 11 at night, 11 p.m. And then he extended Friday and Saturday to 2 a.m. for your convenience. So you come home from a couple of wobbly pops, you like having something to eat, watching the Fright Night movies. Hey, just call Pete's Pizza. They're open. 905-374-2222. They're open, one of the few ones open. They're going to take care of you. Or you can just go to Pete'sPizzaVictoria.ca and you can order it right online. Pete'sPizzaVictoria.ca, right online, or 905-374-2222. Tell Mike that Paul from Your City, Your Voice sent you. He'll be happy. I'll be happy. And thank you very much for supporting our sponsors. You'll enjoy it. I get the Canadian. Pepperoni, bacon crumble, mushrooms. Beautiful. I get it a little bit well done too. I asked for it well done. There you go. There's my secret. I let it out. Good pizza. I like it. So we got to take a shot down to the U.S. because what the hell is going on now? The U.S. has issued a world terrorist threat alert. Things are heating up. Things are getting serious. As the war in the Middle East appears to have escalated with everyone waiting for the assault on Iran by Israel, before Election Day, they're supposed to do it, the U.S. has warned everyone to be alert for terrorist attacks anywhere in the world. Whether you're traveling, whether you're doing this, whether you're doing that, you better watch out for terrorist attacks. Yeah, they're out there. And some people were waving. I don't know who they are. I couldn't see that far without my glasses on, to tell you the truth, but you wave back and they'll say they saw you. Now, they're also warning that it could be domestic. I mean, it could happen in the U.S. as well, because there's so many people that came over that border from the Biden and Harris administration that they figure around Election Day there could be some kind of an attack. Could be a false flag attack. Who knows? We don't know what's going to happen. But 9 times out of 10, they call this the October surprise. And they're on the alert in the United States. Apparently, posts on social media are encouraging for large demonstrations at U.S. and Israeli facilities today, starting today on October 25th. I never saw anything about that on any of the news programs this morning, but they're calling for it today, and citizens should avoid any demonstrations and exercise caution when traveling domestically or abroad. And we might see them in Canada as well. We might see them in Canada as well. It's the Palestinians who are going crazy, terrorist Hamas, and burning flags and doing all this other crap. Today is the day they're supposed to cause trouble. And it'll continue right to the election, probably. Now, is it really as bad in the U.S. As we think? Yes. Open borders have allowed a lot of people in, and they've been threatening. And you could see a lot of Palestinian delegations causing trouble in the United States. And the protests are going to increase as we reach the election, and it's not going to get any better. Let's put it that way. Be aware, be vigilant, say something if you see something, and be safe most of all. So if you're traveling or going to the U.S. or anything, watch out. Keep your eyes open. Don't get involved in anything going on. No matter, some people can't help themselves. They see a demonstration going on, they want to get in the middle of it and have their voice heard. Don't. Nothing good's going to come out of it. Let the police handle it, or groups that are there to handle it. Let's put it that way. Now, over to the Middle East itself, Israeli forces have killed another Hamas leader, his wife, and their 2 daughters in an airstrike on northern Lebanon. And that was disclosed by a Hamas representative yesterday, I believe, or today. And air raids are continuing against Hezbollah in the southern part of Beirut, Lebanon. Now, Commander Saeed Atala Ali and his family were killed on Saturday, Hamas said. Ali was identified by Hamas as the leader of the armed wing that they call the Qassam Brigades, and he was their leader. Now he's dead. Hamas has also stated that 18 of its senior commanders have been killed in recent weeks. So the Israelis, via the IDF, the Israeli Defense Forces, have been wiping these guys out fast. Now, Israel really hasn't commented on the strike. Maybe as their leadership is decimated, Hamas will decide to make peace, lay down their arms, and give up the hostages. But you know what? I don't think so. As long as they're receiving support from Iran and they're able to throw rockets over into Israel and keep fighting, they're going to do it. That's just what they do. And of course, the Biden administration would love to end it before the election. That would be another feather in Kamala's hat, and it would give her a boost because she's sinking faster than Led Zeppelin, than the Led Zeppelin. That's what she's saying. But anyway, everyone's sitting on waiting for Israel to bomb Iran because they said they're gonna at the time of their choosing. And most experts say it's going to be before the election. So stay tuned. Stay tuned for the Middle East. It's heating up over there. We have the B-2 Spirit flying around, dropping bombs on the Houthis. Big bombs, the biggest bombs you can find. They drop. They're the ones that drop those. So they're flying around, patrolling the area. They're watching. So there's a lot going on over there. And if you go over to China, they really have Taiwan surrounded. They're ready to go in there. Who knows what they're going to do when they start to move in. It's amazing what 4 years of a weak president and administration will do to the world. I mean, everybody depends on the U.S. to be the police and keep everybody else in check. But it hasn't happened in the last 4 years. And all of a sudden we have all these wars breaking out and they're escalating and nobody can stop it. Nobody's doing anything. I just don't think they're able to. And then you have all these countries in joining BRICS, which is a push to get rid of the petrodollar, the US dollar, and pay in their own currencies, which is going to bring down the US dollar and ultimately could bring down the US itself. I mean, things are looking bad worldwide. Somebody's got to get in there and straighten this out. And if you think Kamala can, vote for her. If you think Trump can, vote for him. But hopefully somebody straightens it out. This is getting to be a real disaster. And of course, Canada sits back and watches because really, what are we going to do? Not a lot we can do except offer a supporting role. Once all the fighting stops, go in there and keep the peace. I guess that's what we do. Oh boy. Yeah, it's not getting any better. We'll see what happens on the weekend. Maybe we'll get some good news over the weekend that they've sat down and figured it all out and they're going to drop their arms and everything else. Let's hope for peace. Nothing good can come from war. Nothing good. There's only so many people who make money and like war, and it isn't the regular people. Believe me. Peace is better. It's good for business. I mean, that's the way it is. It's just the way it is. So, if you're a conspiracy theory person, put your hand up. Right here, right here. I'm the biggest conspiracy person you've ever seen. You're going to love this. 4 days after Trump manned the fry station and takeout window at McDonald's, right? A short 4 days after, the Center for Disease Control, CDC, we call it, in the U.S. has declared an E. coli breakout at the restaurant chain called McDonald's. Coincidence? You be the judge. You be the judge of that. Now, Mickey D's in 10 states, Colorado, Kansas, Utah, Wyoming, and portions of Iowa, Missouri, Montana, Nebraska, Nevada, New Mexico, and Oklahoma are also affected by this outbreak in their quarter pounder sandwiches. Yeah, give me a quarter pounder. Yeah, the quarter pounders. If you're going to get a McDonald's, don't get a quarter pounder. They have E. coli. And they're saying that they're not sure exactly what component of the burger is contaminated. Whether it's the condiments like, the the pickles, the lettuce, the onion, whatever they use on them. It's those things or the burger itself. They don't know. But they're searching it out. They're trying to search it down in these 10 McDonald's. Apparently 49 cases of E. coli have been reported. Is that a lot? 49 cases in 10 states? Seems low, but I guess if you get even one, you want to report it, right? But it has resulted in 10 hospitalizations and a death. Somebody died from this. So that's pretty crazy. So Trump goes in there, works for like 15 minutes, and all of a sudden the CDC, which is controlled by the government, of course, goes in there and declares an E. coli breakout. And people are hospitalized over it. Now, the CDC is urging anyone who's feeling ill after eating a quarter pounder to go to the hospital and get checked out. Symptoms of E. coli experience include stomach cramps, diarrhea, and vomiting. So if you got any of those and you haven't drank a bottle of Jack Daniels in the last 4 hours, you probably got E. coli from a quarter pounder. So go get checked out. Don't fool around. Now, the CDC is not saying the outbreak has anything to do with Trump working there for 15 minutes. But the left-wing loonies they're going to try to blame it on him, and it looks like they already are. I mean, why even mention his 15 minutes as a server? In a state that's not even on this list. That's where he worked, Pennsylvania, I think he was, Feasterville, Pennsylvania, or something like that, right? But Pennsylvania isn't on this list, but they're trying to somehow link it to Trump's brief employ at the fry station and at the takeout window. So I don't know. This is crap. You think it is? You think that it's Trump's fault he did it? They'll try to frame him for it. I mean, they're framing the power outage in Cuba on him. They're blaming that on Trump. What does Trump have to do with the power outage in Cuba? It had an embargo on Cuba since the New Year's Eve revolution of 1959. Right? They've been embargoing Cuba. And all of a sudden, it's... you see how these people are wacky. They're whacked. People call me whacked. I'm whacked, but these guys are really whacked. So that's it for today, Gary Wilkins. What is it, 12:55 or something like that? I got 5 more minutes I got to give you. Because I know Gary, when I leave early, he says, you owe us 5 minutes. I love it. I love hearing from Gary. Great guy. And but he'll take me to task. He'll want me to add 5 minutes on to the next show. Thanks for keeping me in line, Gary. I love it. But don't forget, I want everybody, if you can, message me on Facebook. Email me, paullemire@cogeco.ca. Whatever. Get me a message on the video here. Leave a comment when the video goes up on Facebook later on today. And tell me what costume you think our city councilors should wear for Halloween. Come on, you got to have some good ideas that are funny. I need content here. Come on, you guys. There's more talent out there than me. You guys should be able to come up with some good things for them. I mean, I already have, but... And I'm sure Wheels, being the creative guy he is going to have some. And anybody else out there, give me your ideas. I don't mention your name. I won't mention your name if you don't want me to. If you want to take credit for it, I'll mention your name. But if you don't want to take credit, I won't mention your name. It doesn't matter to me. I'll just say them anonymously, because I know some people, they're afraid to criticize city council. They think that they're going to end their friendship or something. Listen, these guys are public figures. They went into it knowing that there's going to be heat on them. They're getting paid. We expect them to do a job, and they have to separate criticism and a few pokes, a few ball busts, if you will, along with that job. And I keep saying that, when I use nicknames, that it's nothing against these guys. I don't have anything against them. They're all great people. I know them all. They're all fun. You'd love to hang around them and have a beer. They're beautiful people to hang around, but they're doing a job. They're getting paid for it, and taxpayers are paying them, and the expectations are there. So never feel bad to criticize them or poke a little fun at them. Have good natured fun. But I mean, you can't go up there and start wanting to fight them and crap. If you do that, you're an idiot. If you do that, come on. They're like us. They're making decisions down there, and they're going to get them right. They're going to get them wrong. You might agree. You might not agree. You let them know you don't agree, but you never use violence or anything like that. I mean, you get like that. That's crazy. See, that's the problem. If you want to get a point across and you start getting like that, then they just think you're a loony. They won't listen to anything else you have to say. You got to go and present your case without yelling and screaming like you see in city council chambers sometimes, people swearing at them and everything else. No, you get your point across, you give them something to think about, and you wait for a reply. You don't get goofy. They don't want you want people to think you're a whack job, because if then nobody will listen to you, right? Present your case, wait for a reply. If you don't get a reply, and you criticize them when you don't think they've done a good job. That's it. So give us your suggestions for costumes. What do you want to see them dressed up as? The mayor? You want to see him as dressed up as a ringmaster? The ringmaster of the circus we call Niagara Falls? Let me know. Come on, you got ideas out there. My name is Paul K. Lemire. This is Finally Friday. I'm out of here. Have a great weekend, everybody. Love you all. Support our sponsors, Wild Bill's Auto Repair and Body Shop, Hamilton Glowstone Lighting, and Victoria Avenue Pete's Pizza. Like our video, subscribe to our network, to the channel, and give us a thumbs up, thumbs down, leave us comments, costumes for city council. I'm going to do it on Tuesday morning or Tuesday at noon. Of course, that's when the show is, with Dave Wheeler. Wheels will be in to share that with us. And we'll talk about city events, city stuff too, of course. And just have a good time with it. Halloween's next Thursday. Let's have a good time with Halloween for our city and enjoy it. The Spooky Awards. Yeah, there's lots going on. Have a great weekend, everybody. Signing out from 4680Q Radio. Tune in every day at noon, except for Wednesdays. Unless you're a Habs fan, then tune in, because we do Habsolutely, and it's all Habs, all show. See you later. I'm out of here for the weekend. Have a great one, everybody. Ciao, ciao. See you later.